we move on to discuss the Rams. So the Rams clinched the NFC West division title. They defeated fellow NFC West rival Arizona Cardinals on Saturday. 13-9 victory for them. Methodical game, but the Rams were able to get it done to win that one. And then the Seahawks, they also won on Thursday night, 6-3, underwhelming win over the Chicago Bears. But despite the Seahawks being a one-game reach of the Rams clinched the NFC West, because even if the Seahawks beat the Rams in Week 18, both teams are level in 10-7, and then the tiebreaker head-to-head would be split, but Rams have the strength of victory tiebreaker. They wrapped it up this past Sunday with some fixtures going their way, and therefore, if the strength of schedule went the Seahawks' way, then it would have came down to, Week 18 NFC West title deciding game. But the fact that the Rams had that second tiebreaker, and the Seahawks, they have no chance. They have no tiebreakers over the Rams. The Rams have that advantage. So the Rams have won the NFC West. And look, you're looking at it from an objective point of view, trying to analyze this as a fan, looking forward to NFL playoffs. Just looking at it from a spectator that has no biases or anything of that sort. You're happy the Rams are in the playoffs, because that's an extra team in the NFC that can make some noise. The Seattle Seahawks, as I said about Denver Broncos, even more so with the Seattle Seahawks, they would be food for anybody in that first round, in that wild card round. They will, or whoever, even if the Seahawks were the home team, if you have the likes of the Commanders or the Commanders or the Vikings, or the Packers going into Seattle, Seattle would be food to any of them. Even with Seattle Seahawks being at home, even with that atmosphere. Let's be for real. Now you get the Commanders playing the Rams, or potentially the Vikings or Packers. I believe it's actually the Commanders. Actually, I keep saying Vikings and Packers, but I think both teams are semi-locked into their positions. That will be interesting. Packers taking on Seattle. Packers taking on the Rams. That will be interesting. I would say both games are around 50-50. And the fact that the Rams have Matthew Stafford, a guy that can make any throw on the field, somebody who's went on a deep run, made the Super Bowl. Sean McVay as well. He's coached in multiple Super Bowls now. He's won a Super Bowl. You're looking at it. When you talk about a team trying to make a run, head coach and quarterback, huge parts of the team. We're talking about two guys that has huge playoff experience, both won a Super Bowl, compared to the Seahawks, who have a rookie head coach who's never coached a playoff game in his life, as a head coach, as an NFL coach, who's never coached an NFL playoff game in his life, and a Geno Smith, who's 0-1 in the playoffs for his whole career. It's two different levels, two different stratospheres. And now the Rams, they got healthy as well. They have Puka Nacua. They got Cooper Kupp. They got the run game with Kyren Williams at the wheel. I ought to look out for this Rams team. They're not the most talented of teams as a unit, but they're well coached. They got that great quarterback that'll keep them alive. Who would have thought let's go back to the Rams. The Rams had that bad loss to the Bears earlier this season. Really, really bad loss to the Bears earlier this season. And then they lost to the Packers after that. And they were at 1-4. 1-4 through their first 5 games. And they went on to win the division. That's incredible. And it just shows, if you have the talent and you're just a little bit banged up here and there, but you're able to withstand, the punches, and you take it in the gut, you get your players back, you have the mission in mind, and you remain, and the big part about that is their coaching. They're well coached. So as soon as the players get back, they're able to get that cohesiveness back right away. They're able to go on the run. They're not psychologically taken aback from the fact that they are 1-4. They don't let that play a psychological role in them. They don't put their heads down. They keep their head up. They continue to fight and slowly crawl their way back, not only back into the playoffs, but they win a freaking division and they get a home playoff game. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely impressed. That's great coaching. That's great leadership with the quarterback you have in Matt Stafford. That's great play as well from Matt Stafford, who's had a really, really good season, underrated season. Has been a Pro Bowl caliber player. 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 93 quarterback rating, 3,762 yards, 65.8 completion percentage. I'm doing my, rankings for quarterbacks this season. He's definitely in my top 10. He's been good. He's been underrated. And and now so you have an opportunity. The Rams, they're locked into that 4th seed. They're not finishing, ahead. Actually, or they're locked into that 3 seed. More likely than not. They're not finishing ahead of Detroit. They're not finishing ahead of Philadelphia. There is the Buccaneers, who are 1 seed behind them at 9-7. And I don't know exactly what the tiebreaker is that comes between the Rams and the Buccaneers. I don't believe those two teams have played each other this season. But the Rams do have a proposition. Maybe they can rest players. And if you can rest Matthew Stafford in Week 18, an older quarterback, people don't realize Matthew Stafford is 36 years old. You can get him some rest. You can get Cooper Kupp some rest as well, who's been a little bit banged up in the last couple of years. That will do wonders for both of them. And the Rams are expecting for Matthew Stafford to sit out in Week 18. So, I think the Rams are in a good spot right now. They are. And what they've been able to do to come back and win this division is great. Again, they can do something in the playoffs. When you got that great head coach, when you have that great quarterback, you will be a factor. And I believe the Rams will be a factor. And we shouldn't sleep on them in terms of potentially making a run to the NFC Championship game. Why not? Why not? I believe they can beat anybody in this NFC. I really do. And they can lose to a few of these teams as well. But they can beat any one of those teams. So look out for the Rams to make that late season, to make a run into the postseason. And you need that luck. You need the right matchups. But they get that first round at home too. So I've been absolutely impressed. It's been a season. It's been a season of resilience, of determination, of mental strength, and they've been rewarded. And I don't like saying these nice things about any team in the NFC West because I am a 49er fan. But as a 49er fan, and I think I'm speaking for all 49er fans, we will gladly have the Rams in the playoffs over them, them dirty Seattle Seahawks.